Let's roll. 1008 TVU Sports, we're back in the building, man. And we about to hit y'all with the 2019 Week 2 edition of the Top 5. Before we jump into the Top 5, let me give y'all a little rundown about what we got coming up and what we got going on. We have solidified a date for the 4th annual 1008 TVU Award Show. And that date is Tuesday, November 26th at the Sanchez Center for 7 p.m. And you know, that's when we bring in all the best of the best. We hand out awards such as MVP, Offensive Player, Defensive Player of the Year, all type of awards, running back awards, all the type of awards that we do. And we going on our 4th one, and this one should be bigger than every one preceding it. But now, let's jump into this top 5 without further ado. The number 5 team, it took a tough loss in week 1 to the Willie Hall Panthers. But the St. Rock Crusaders, not a team that I would want to have to face again. That team now know what it's like to play on the big stage. They've been playing Division II for a couple years, but that game that they lost to Willie Hall, it wasn't the worst thing that could have happened to them. Because I believe if that team and the Willie Hall team see each other again as is, I think St. Rock feel like they have a good chance of winning that game. What I love about this team, I love Big Malachi. I love Big Ray Ray. Favorite player on the team, I can't lie, the 9-year-old Kyle Jones. So the St. Rock Crusaders at number 5 with the next game they play next week, Saturday, the Milne Raiders, which is also a tough team. So St. Rock being at number 5 with a loss, when they line up against the Milne Raiders next week, it can really shake up this 9 to 10-year-old division and with the standards of how good is St. Rock really. Let's move on to the number 14, the Cutoff Warriors. This team here can be a tricky bunch. When I first saw this team, they didn't look all that hot. But then when I seen them again, they looked a little bit better. Now, I'm going to bring up 2 names, and these 2 names going to come with 2 names. And the 2 names I'm going to bring up, Ziggy Casby and Jod Dillon. Jod Dillon and Ziggy Casby. The reason I bring these 2 players' name up is, first of all, they both can play football. The linebacker and the offensive guard, those two little dudes can play. They just not get it twisted, and Ziggy got some speed with him. But this Jod Dillon kid on the offensive line, he could block anybody. You know, all these people talking about they got linemen that can't be blocked and they got this dude that can't be blocked. Jod Dillon of the Cutoff Warriors could block anybody. But I brought those 2 names up to talk about 2 more names, Cubby and Zulu. That's 2 throwback coaches from the Cutoff with some DNA of champions. That's their 2 sons. Will they get involved with this Cutoff Warrior sophomore team? And I think if those 2 get involved with the Cutoff team will get better and better and better, and I think they can make themselves a contender. But the Cutoff is a team that the question is out is, are they pretenders or are they contenders? When you think about the guys on that team other than Ziggy and Jod, I'm going to say this. Give Shorty the ball. Give Shorty a shot. Let him run the ball. What's up with Kamal Martin? All them dudes that got that championship experience from last year that lost to St. Rock in the championship. Let them 9s get some shine. You heard me? I just made that up. Let them 9s get some shine in the Cutoff. You know what I mean? And when you think about the Cutoff, the game they have Saturday against the Willie Hall Panthers is gonna prove how far the Cutoff has really come. It's gonna prove do they deserve to be in the top 5 or not. But the Cutoff and the Willie Hall Panthers will face off next week. But the number 14 on the chart, the Cutoff Warriors. Number 3, they repping G, the Goretti Saints. What do you know? What can you say about Goretti, right? Lil Chubby. We all know Lil Chubby. We all know Derek Dumbo. What is Coach Carroll going to do to score the ball offensively? That's the question. What will Coach Carroll do to score the ball offensively? Because in a 12-0 game against Milne, Derek Dumbo had a defensive touchdown. We know they're going to play defense. How can they score the ball? And let me holler at my little partner. What's up, Makai? You heard me? That's my guy, go ready. Makai Pia, cornerback, he ready. I'm putting my money on Makai Island. I'm telling you right now. But the Goretti Saints at number 3, and they have a very, very, very tricky game coming up Saturday. They're going to play the Boninger Jaguars. And people really don't know what to expect from Boninger. But I kind of know what to expect from Boninger. Boninger's going to be kind of good. Darren Coates and the gang at Boninger with Caden Taylor, that group is going to be good. So when I look at Goretti, is this a game that they can sleep on and not take Boninger serious? That's going to be the question. How are you going to score the ball, and is Boninger a setup game? The Goretti Saints at number 3. At number 2, y'all already know who it is. The Willie Hall Panthers. And I look at Willie Hall Panthers, and I want to take a piece out of the Lion Center book. Quarterback U. When I think about this particular team, they quarterback college or something, because they got TJ, they got Boo Diddy, and they got Ryan Taylor. They got 3 quarterbacks that can all play quarterback. And we know the coach with Johnny, he's an offensive schemer, to say the least. He like to hit you with different things offensively. He's an offensive mind. And in the off field, I guess you can call him an offensive guru. You know what I mean? So how will he use all 3 of these quarterbacks? And how can you talk about the Willie Hall Panthers and not talk about G5 sitting on a runway? G5 is determined to win again. I had a personal conversation with him through Instagram, and he said, ain't no stumble in the humble. I like that little line, G5. Ain't no stumble in the humble. But G5 is ready to put the city on his back. Period, point blank. And he know that Narco said that he got to put the city on his back. But I think Gavin Cooper has something to prove this year to the whole city, to his teammates, and to the people that think he's not the best in the 10-year-old league anymore. But can't talk about Willie Hall without talking about Gavin G5 Cooper. In the game they have against the Cutoff, like I say, the Cutoff is playing for respectability against Willie Hall. The Cutoff is looking at Willie Hall like, we want y'all spot. And so they're gonna come with a tough mindset to try to take Willie Hall down, because they still look at Willie Hall as the elite. So the number 2 team, the Willie Hall Panthers. Last but not least, the number 1 team, and y'all know what that is already, the boys from Uptown, the Harrell Rams. And what can you say about Harrell? They beat Pontchartrain 28-0. Narco, Trey, Mitch, Jaden, Khalil, Hawk, Z, Batman, Ron. I mean, I can do that all day. But the Harrell Rams, they took care of Pontchartrain 28-0, like most people thought they was going to do. But now they got the off week. So we don't have much to say on Harrell this time. So Derek can kind of sit back and chill out for a minute to see how he's going to regroup after this off week moving forward. Because we all know what matchup we waiting on. We waiting on Willie Hall Harrell. But everybody else that Harrell have on this schedule, they want Harrell. They want to face the Nitro. So that's just how we rocking. And like I said, the coaches poll and my poll was exactly the same. So I will put the coaches' points up at the end of it, but the coaches poll and my point was exactly the same. Let's run through the top 5 again. At 5, the St. Rock Crusaders. At 4, the Cutoff Warriors. At 3, the Goretti Saints. At 2, the Willie Hall Panthers. And the number 1 team, the Harrell Rams. You already know how we rock, and you know what it's hitting for. You already know what to do. Holla back. Yeah.